Guys, welcome back to Beautiful Mind. Okay, today we're just going to dive right in. We're not going to do a long introduction and stuff. And let's just take a look at what's happened here because Bitcoin has taken off and had a little bit of a sucker rally here up to our upper trend line, which I was pointing out I had added just a few weeks back because I was getting concerned that we could possibly retest this area, and of course we have. So the square, of course, setting it up here. If we set up this square right here for this 24,800, which represents this area on the square, and I've aligned the 0 degree with September 11th on our dual date ring right here. That's this right here. And I've put it on the 25 here, obviously. And I want you to note that the price has come all the way around 1 square, 2 squares to 49, and our third square to 64 right here. So I was getting concerned about this dead cat bounce here, and I was really expecting that we were going to continue back and have a pullback to this area right away, because my forecast for a February bottom that I forecast back in I think it was May 2nd again. Yeah, it was May 2nd, 2022, and I did this entire synopsis on all the tops and bottoms. And in doing that, I did all of the campaigns, and in my last ones I was check marking with these question marks here if all of my counts were going to work out, and that February 2024 was our last 27-month count from our second top here, right, which was our November one. And I'm expecting another April top here coming up, April 14th actually, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So these are the forecasts that I've done, and I've used all the percentage levels of previous campaigns to measure what we could expect seeing coming back and moving forward. And the dates, I nailed the September low, the February, all our 12, 13, and 14 months, which is our November, December, and January of 2023. July, we had that weird fake out where I got really worried, and I told you about to watch out. We could have something happen in that August period, and sure enough, at that end of August, right, we had another little dead cat bounce before our 22-month bottom. Now, February, I was stating, could be a low, really low, or it could be a higher low. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lower low. Now we need this. We need this area here to hold right here in our February period, right at the beginning here. So what would that represent? Well, that would represent now again, looking at our square now, that would represent a move from, our 65 or 64 here, right, where we spun all the way up to. It's, we come down to this area, that's 42. It's right here. We would be pretty much back to square one again, which would be right back here. So you can also see here, at 37 and 38 here, right? Look at that. It's right here. We spun all the way around from here, right? Spun all the way around. Went all the way up, right? Hit it, came all the way up, bounced all the way back, And now we've come all the way around, and now we're at 64. So you see how powerful this tool is. Okay. And by the way, we're going to look at the ephemeris because we have 3 planets right now. We have the sun, and Mercury has conjunct Saturn right now. You can't see the other 2 planet chips. They're right directly underneath this one, but they're all right here. And looking at that, this is why I think we're having a top. Saturn, right, represents restrictions, and we have a bunch of restrictions coming up, and this is March coming up here, and I'm expecting that we cease moving up, and we have a pullback into around this area here, the 10th and 12th, and then from there, we're probably going to have some more snaps up and down, and then our next swing top, where we will have Saturn again, will be this sequence, okay? And this will be Venus now. Venus is going to come from here, and it's going to slam right into our good old friend Saturn. So, and then Mars will be next, and Mars would be not till, right here, 10th. So expect a top around the 8th to the 14th, something with Saturn, right? That's our last in our fast moving planets. All right. So, planets are really important because when they come around and they make tops and bottoms, for instance, we can see what they're doing. And we had some major moves, bottoms, and some swing tops when the planets were coming around and hitting Pluto. So I teach all these kind of things too on an esoteric level. It's probably very difficult for a lot of people, but I teach this. It's probably a new concept to a lot. But take it in slowly. It's not that difficult. Okay, so moving forward now, we're talking about these last swing tops and swing bottoms. So this is our sequences. So let's get back to the chart now, and we'll see what our buying lows could be. It looks an awful lot like, our first next area to test is 52, right? 53, and this represents this area, right? It's directly across from our all-time high, and we're just approaching it. So halfway back from this too would also represent, this 50 level. So we would have to sit on this 50 and 49 right here. And of course, as you guys know, we have a swing top at 49 right here. So this would be a very sensible area for us to experience a swing. And back to this channel area on that I've put on here. This is an aggressive channel that we've got running up here in the white. I changed it from yellow to white so it wasn't so confusing, because I felt like, I've had this on there for a long time. And I've said to you, it's not out of the ordinary. We would have to grow some really big legs and jump above and sit on this. And that's exactly and precisely what we did do. And I just want you guys to pay attention to that. We have this area of contention now. This is our old top, 65 on April, of our 2021. And we're coming up on this time cycle right now. And it looks like, we're going to be possibly bouncing back up again, maybe retesting it a few times. I'm expecting we're going to retest it a few times before we actually get through it. So, but I am expecting a pullback, and I initially did one from here outlining, that we could expect, possibly 62 days. So with that in mind, we have, I don't like to talk about the news and whatever. So, but we have, our good buddy going to be talking to the Senate from the Fed, JP, our good buddy Jeremy Powell, and he's going to be delivering some probably pretty probably pretty bad news. So I'm just could be that we could be retesting if we break this white trend line here at this 48.49 area. That would not be good. We would definitely be coming back to this trend line and certainly pushing on our old bottoms here, right? So this is possible, and anything can happen here. Bitcoin is a very volatile asset right now. The government doesn't want you to own Bitcoin. It's the most successful thing. I've never told you to sell Bitcoin. Why would I ever tell anyone, ever, never sell the winner to buy the loser? Never. Why would you do that? Never, never sell the winner to buy the loser. It's the most successful thing. Like, come on, guys. All right, so being mindful, you're not late to the party. Don't get caught up in this FOMO. Right now, everyone is starting to shout and yell that, and this is when you need to watch out. If you're to the party late, watch your stops because, it looks like it's possible we might, be retesting this area here. And if we do that, you know, it's possible we just come back down and retest this area and just knock everybody right out that got into this rally. And we were talking about this, right? It was this 27 months, and I was saying it could, possibly be a lower low, but it might turn out to be a higher low and a correctional area. I mean, we could, we could easily sit right here. And matter of fact, that wouldn't even surprise me because this makes the most logical sense. It's 180 degrees from 64, right? We just swing all the way down. We just slam right into 49 here and we just hold right on, right? And we sit on this old top, right? That's the safest place to buy every time. It sits on its old top. So watch out for this. If it does this, and I expect this, I've been telling you, watch out for these dead cat bounce and these sucker rallies, So are we going to break above 69? Are we going to come around and eventually take this out? Well, I think it is really likely, but I don't think that can really happen for a bit. I think we're going to be bouncing off of this, and it's probably going to take a few months before we get sorted out and we have another maybe good correction back into this April period, right? Right after we have our local top here, and then we retest our low area, and then we have our halving event, and then from there, I think things are gonna, I wouldn't say they're gonna get crazy, but it's possible that we revisit maybe we revisit these areas. There's a big washout, 62 days later, right? And what were we talking that would look like? Well, that would take us right out to, right? No, of course, doesn't show us on the bottom here now, does it? Okay, well, we'll fix that. Just compress that a little. And line up our top. Right now, this is our current and local top. So we're looking for 62, right? So that would take us right to April, the end of April, beginning of May. And we could possibly be looking for, right? A low. Doesn't have to necessarily be, but maybe we maybe we retest this area right here. And this is a Fibonacci area right here. This is one of our levels, right? This is a 618 level. And, let's go take a look at what we're talking about. Okay, it's our 618 because this is our 100% right here. We blew past the 78 level. We didn't even pay any respect to it whatsoever, right? And we moved up, and we're probably in the high 80s, so looks like Bitcoin's about to suffer a pullback and a reaction here, and looks like we're about to just come back and resettle upon this area, and probably somewhere around here. I've been calling for this area that it's possible and likely that we see a revisit around that date, right? And this is certainly signifying, we could come back and sit on this old top here, no problem. In fact, that would be a pretty healthy correction. Let's take a look at what that would look like percentage wise now, right? Because we said 20% and 23% in our previous tutorials that, we can't, and that would be perfectly in line with this date. That wouldn't exceed the 20%. This would be a perfect correction. And I just feel that, we're gonna hit something like that, and it's possible we bounce back up and we start, by the 22nd, we revisit this top area, maybe get another rejection, and then by that April, by the 14th, these trend lines work out perfectly with, our synopsis. Once we get above this 69, we're going to start the third section of this bull campaign. And what would that mean? Well, Mr. Gann in his books states that the third section doesn't start until you break above your old all-time high. And then the third section starts. And from there, it gets wild. And we wouldn't have a yardstick, so we would have to double our top naturally to give us another sine wave as a guideline. And 70,000 would give us 140,000 Bitcoin, and I feel that is, it's likely impossible, and but it doesn't have to occur this year. It could. We could certainly see something like that take place in November, December. However, I kind of think that we'll be in these 80s and the 70s and 80s. 77 to 80. At least up to 86. Right here, and then all these 90s, right? We're up into the 96 levels, right, and then 100. So, but I don't really feel that, until maybe, March, April here, we could be certainly at 100,000 or whatever. Let's just take this 25 and we'll just move that, right? So, yeah, we could certainly be up at that level by 2025, no problem. Bitcoin has been setting some precedents, and everyone was laughing at me when I was saying that, we were bottomed and we were in a bull market, and and I've been told many times that when I've called these tops and bottoms with these dates, that I didn't know what I was talking about. We were expecting this 155-day count here for a top. Well, we did have a top, and here's that bottom right here. and then the fake out. So it's likely that we're about to re-experience a correction, you know. And if we were to stay above this red line right here on this, if we were to stay above that, then definitely we'd definitely be, if we stayed above this by around this date, right here at 57, and 57 represents this area on the square, which is 90 degrees back. So if we were to sit on that, yeah, we would definitely be testing this and breaking through and sitting on this area, probably somewhere around this area here on the 18th, 19th of April. I would expect that we should maybe be sitting down around that area. We have a few things going on around here, so it's possible that can take place. So watch out for this, revisiting our anniversary highs for the last, we've had them happen in the last 4 years. Go ahead and have a look at all the Aprils, right? They've all been tops. All of them, you know. This one, you know. Right? April is our last ditch effort at a top before massive fall off, right? Right? There you go. So and then not to forget, guys. Okay, so that's our April in there, right? Okay, there's our top, right? There's our old anniversary top, right here, 65,000, and that's what we've already touched upon. So I expect a lot of this behavior from the market here. Okay, we get a lot of choppy action here, and you know these are old time cycles. We got to pay attention to these because we're playing out an old cycle here with this top, right? And then we're going to have some little corrective moves, and then into the end of the year, you know, big stuff, right? This July, maybe a big pullback, and then August and September just gets crazy again, right? So this is the kind of stuff that reoccurs over and over and over again, and I follow it really closely, and I'm just you know I don't want to lose my investments, and when I see it starting to get you know overheated to the downside or to the upside, I'm very careful to make sure that I'm watching for our counts for our next bottoms, and that's what I do. And this is why I'm so successful, and I own Bitcoin. That's just the bottom line. And you can do the very same thing too. The very same thing. It's not that difficult, guys. So we're still in our last trade right now. I didn't add any pyramid positions or anything from October 15th. And that, of course, is part of my forecast and strategy from last year when I told you guys to buy Bitcoin around that time. I wrote that a year in advance. This is 2023. I told you the low would come in between the 6th and the 16th and to buy. Right? I bought on the 15th, the last day, and then we had an extreme fast move up. I was getting worried right here. Our 62-day counts, yeah, I was taking it from this one here, and I was like, yeah, 62 days. I was like, crapping my pants. Is it really gonna, like, are we testing this and just gonna flop down? Because I'm a bit of a bad news bears, and I make no apologies for those things. But hey, it stuck exactly to what my forecast stated. Buy, because it's a big point. Anyways, peace and love, guys. Safe trading. Just watch out. We could be in for some whipsaw stuff here. So keep your stops tight. Peace and love.